This meets that. This meets that. You pick this and I'll pick that. We'll put them together and what do you get? A movie we describe as this meets that. This meets that. Yeah!
Welcome back to another episode of This Meets That, where Steve and I take two movies, mash them together, and pitch a new movie that you would call It's Like This Meets That. It's pretty much self-explanatory from our jingle. What's up, Steve?
Not much, Ben. Happy Father's Day
Happy
to
Father's
me.
Day.
Happy Father's Day to your father.
Yep.
And happy not having children to you.
I appreciate it. Every Father's Day, I like to reflect of like, thank God I didn't make that mistake. Went for lunch today at a packed restaurant with all these screaming kids and knowing I didn't have to pay for all of them. You know, it brought a tear to my eye.
Mm-hmm.
just what is it, like 16 more years, man? Then you can boot the little fucker out?
I with the way the economy and stuff is going,
Oh, that's true.
Kids are staying at home longer, and it's possible he'll never move out at all, and we just all live we'll just kind of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It'll just be me and his mom and him, just all in one big bed.
Okay.
With I don't know, a friend and his wife or something like that, and just
normally it's the grandparents, your parents and her parents would be in the bed, and you're just making food for
and I'm just making food, and
yeah.
I just sleep on the futon. Yeah, that could be that too. Look, man, I'm not king shaming anybody. Whatever works.
If grandparents want to fuck other grandparents, they're allowed
Whatever
to.
gets my son that golden ticket out of our love shack.
So you got to really raise him up. Like, the most important thing is you taking care of me and your mom when we're older. That's your only purpose. So if he does never move out, then he just slots right into that position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, then.
All right, cool. Well,
positive thinking for the future.
So, I got a movie. Do you got a movie?
Sure.
I mean, before, I want to say, we haven't done this in 6 months. It was
6 months?
It was December.
Wow.
That we did this last. So, I figured This Meet That would be a monthly thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this is only our 21st.
They just got to stop making so many movies we want to see, Ben. That's the thing.
It's impossible when every week you got something else to review. All right, well, welcome back to This Meets That, our favorite game. You got your movie?
Yeah, why not?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Sunshine.
X-Men. Okay.
Have I done Sunshine before?
I don't. You always do something like that.
We haven't done X-Men before?
We have not done X-Men. It's been on my list for a long time. Let me see if I can. Okay, we have not done Sunshine, so.
Okay, great.
I guess you get a pass. Cool. Okay, that's a good mix. I'm interested in that. So X-Men is about young people discovering their powers that they're born with at a school with like-minded children,
dealing with a world that doesn't want them, and also dealing with other mutants who
think they're superior. Yeah, it's
a lot of themes of racism and supremacy and stuff,
and so homosexuality and any sort of differentism.
Yeah.
And then Sunshine.
Sunshine, the story of a group of space scientists who are tasked with the mission of reigniting our dying sun, because there's now becoming sort of like this ice age over Earth, and so they're delivering a nuke to reignite the sun to generate warmth to save planet Earth before we are extinct. So I would say that the initial first reaction is a group of superheroes go on some sort of mission to save Earth, which is kind of like what all superhero movies are.
Yeah.
But what if it's like, usually it's based on Earth because it's like, oh, this threat is here, and the big beam in the sky is gonna like wipe us out. Yeah. But what if these superheroes leave Earth to fight a threat? Okay. Is that just Galactus? Is that, this is Guardians of the Galaxy? Mm-hmm. Is this, the Avengers leaving the planet to go fight Thanos? Okay. Or do we go in a different direction? Maybe they're not trying to necessarily save the Earth. Maybe they're just, scientists with mutant abilities that help them do really well in a certain space mission. Like, this person doesn't need air to breathe, so they can go onto a planet without oxygen and explore around. Do they find do these, or like on Earth, mutants are actually quite rare, and so but they are highly valued, and you can kind of like buy them as slaves, kind of almost, in the sense of just like, well, they're too dangerous to leave in normal society, but if you're rich enough, you can get one and they can do tasks
Sure.
for you, or
Okay.
the military can buy them for weapons specific reasons, or maybe a corporation's like, oh, this one's like can instantly work the entire world's internet through their mind. It's like,
Sure.
we'll use them as a tech company to make money.
There's a multiple man, so we hire him to do all the work because we only have to hire one guy.
Yeah.
And he could.
And
Okay.
so it's like, oh, well, now we want, maybe they're like, oh, you're the only group who can go to this faraway planet and see if it's good for the human race to live on. Because you have these specific abilities that if you die, it won't really cost you that much money. I mean, I guess human life would just be cheaper. You just pay them like, I don't know, whatever astronaut salary is to go to another planet. They probably would do it for free just to go.
Maybe.
I don't know. But what do you think? What do we got here?
Okay, so I don't want igniting the sun.
Of course not. No.
So my initial thought were they're regular people and they're traveling to whatever, a planet, a moon, and they get sucked into a wormhole and they get spit out somewhere that they are completely lost. And there's like cosmic radiation, and that's what gives them all their powers. And I'm like,
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. Maybe that's not the thing.
Superheroes have kind of done it all.
They've done it all. But then I thought, I've had this probably won't work, but I had this idea about what if Superman fucked off and found another planet with life on it. Okay? So imagine Superman leaves and years and years and years go on. And it's now kind of like a Star Trek world where all we do is explore space. We don't need money or anything. We're a planet of peace. And they discover another planet that has humanoid or at least higher intelligent creatures on it, and they all worship the god at the top of the mountain like it's Zeus, you know? And then it turns out that it is just Superman up there, and it's been hundreds of years, and Superman doesn't die or whatever it is, and they think he is a god, but he is just a superpowered being from another planet. And I was like, kind of like that idea. And then when these humans show up, Superman's like whoa, you got to get the fuck out of here, man, because like they think I'm the only one like this, and like they're weird little blob creatures, and if they see you, they're gonna think that maybe you guys are gods as well, or something. Or even if it's not, say, Superman, it's a normal person, but being on this planet gave them powers. They were abandoned by their Star Trek fleet years ago, but just so turns out, like Superman, a human on this planet lets them live forever. So then when millennia pass and we come back, he's now God. I don't know. I just had this idea of it'd be kind of funny. You're worshiping someone and it just turns out, no, this is just a superhero from a planet far, far away.
Okay. What about you have a movie where it's like the first half of the movie is kind of like a heist where, let's say it's kind of like the X-Men story of just mutants came about, the world tried to live peacefully, they couldn't do it, mutanism, whatever you would call it, happens. They build the Sentinels to hunt down mutants, dystopian future. It's all bad.
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past world. And then... But, it is in the future, so there's a little bit more technology. They're building rocket ships to take humans to a space station or whatever. Or maybe it's like, the first shuttle to a alien world that is livable. It's like, we're just going to avoid mutants. We're going to...
You could have Earth after we've destroyed it.
Yeah. There's nothing... this war on mutants has, like, ravaged our planet. We can the first human expedition to a faraway planet to colonize it is on its way, but no mutants allowed. We don't want these fuckers around here. And then so a group of mutants go like, guys, we need to get on this ship if we want to survive, and they have to, like, using their powers, have to do this elaborate heist to, like, make their way onto this ship and maybe do something to, like, go, like, make the Earth believe that, oh, this ship exploded in orbit or whatever. Like, they use some, or maybe like there's a mutant that uses some sort of like
projection,
and it's like, oh no, they didn't make it, and another mutant like scrambles the technology so they can't like relay back. It's just like, so for all intents and purposes, like this vessel was destroyed, and they're like, we don't have enough money to send more humans. Like this was the one shot we had to save humanity. But then they go into space and they colonize the planet, and it's just kind of like either the whole movie is the heist and like getting to go, and you don't quite know if they make it or not. You just like have hope that they do, or it's the first half of the movie is the heist, and the second half of the movie is they get to the planet. Now it's just like this group of mutants with mostly humans. Do they try again? Do they kill all the humans? Do the humans find out, oh, there's mutants on this ship? So then another part of this movie is like them going like, do we need to kill these mutants before they kill us? And so there's this like ongoing tension throughout the movie. And then they get to the planet. Do the doors open? You don't know who's coming out because maybe like some sort of pop off did happen. Do they reach an agreement? There could be it's a little bit Mickey 17, a little bit like what's going to happen here. I think that could be a fun like tension all throughout the movie of like, it's the journey that's scary, and then once we get to the destination, like what happens now, kind of thing.
Well, you got to save room for the sequel.
Well, yeah.
And I do think for this world, they can't just be mutants. Obviously, I think we need to limit it, kind of like Push does, where there's a specific number of powers.
Sure.
So then you could use them in like. I kind of like the idea of these people with these powers. They're bad news. We can't have them on the planet anymore. And they put them in a space station, a space prison. And it's up in our atmosphere, or at least close to, and they have their collars that limit their powers or whatever it is. But then something happens on Earth, like a huge disaster, and the prison can't contact Earth anymore, and they don't know what's going on. And they've actually kind of drifted out of the, what's it called when you go around?
Orbit.
The orbit. And now they are kind of like heading straight for the sun. And they know it's going to take a while, but or into the moon. That's closer. Then we're going to crash in the moon. We've lost power of everything. What are we going to do? And all the mutants on the ship are like, well, we have these powers. We could, try to save the day. And they do. And then, well, maybe you're not so bad, kid. I don't know.
I like mine better.
Okay.
Or, I mean, if you wanted to do you could do like a mutant prison escape movie, which could be kind of cool in
they
space.
hook their ship to the one that's going to the good planet, and they just get towed along.
Yeah. I don't know.
But we have to think about Sunshine is more than just space.
Sure.
It is save the Earth because of the sun is dying. So they do need kind of like some mission like that. If maybe they're going out to stop an asteroid that's going to destroy the Earth.
Yeah.
Or for some reason our bombs or anything aren't working, or we can't. If we shoot them, it's too late, and then it'll rain down. We got to send these special group of people that have these special powers to the meteor to stop it.
So a big part of X-Men is just like mutant versus mutant, because it's like these mutants have a different ideology than we do, and if we want humans to treat us with respect, we need to not associate with these mutants who are like, we should just kill all humans. That's a bad look. So what if we want to limit the powers to like, there's 10 powers on this planet or whatever. Great. But one in every 100,000 mutants or whatever small, very minuscule number. We'll call that like the 11th power. There's the name of the movie right there, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
And he has all 10 of the powers at one time?
No, just like his power is just so destructive. It's like we could live with the person who like has electricity powers that basically just makes the light go on and off. Like there's value in these powers that are like seemingly mostly harmless. Like they could do some damage.
We hire all the super strong guys to work in construction.
Yeah, like the multiple guy, like as long as we limit his ability to like take all of our jobs, it's really not going to hurt us that much. Yeah. Or maybe we just use him as like cannon fodder for the military.
Sure.
Who the fuck knows?
We got to test on humans to see if this drug works. Use multiple man,
But one in every X number of mutants has, we'll just call it like nuke power or whatever. And so like they are so dangerous, and we can't tell, like we can let's call it just the mutant gene. We can like scan somebody's eyeball and go like, that's a mutant right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like we can't tell if they have that power. So we just kind of go like, well, the mutant gene's too dangerous. If they breed with humans, there's a chance that they're gonna create more new people, and we just can't have it. Like we lost Austin, Texas last week. We
Yeah.
can't keep, it's too dangerous. It was whatever, it doesn't matter. So it's just like we need to just wipe out all mutants because or lock them all up or put them on the space station or whatever, because it's just too dangerous. Because after every once in a while we're gonna get Nuke Man, and so that could be the thing of just like they've discovered there's a Nuke Man on Earth who wants to like gather all the other Nuke Men and Fallout Las Vegas or whatever it's called, the planet. And so now it's this other group of mutants who just have like silly powers, or not silly powers, but like lesser powers, who have to like go and stop that guy.
Okay.
But then that's just sort of like the Thunderbolts. Like, what are we doing here?
Sure, yeah. Or it's Akira, or
Yeah. It's just like the idea is here, and you could do some cool stuff, but at the same time, it's like superheroes really have done it all. Just be another superhero movie.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you can think of a way to sort of like lean out of the mutant stuff, but that's kind of like
That's
such a big thing about it.
Then it's not X-Men meets Sunshine.
It's just a racism movie.
Yeah.
Which we don't need more of those.
All right, unless it is everybody has powers. There is no human race anymore. It is just everyone who was born after a certain event has superpowers. It could be, we could do infinite types, or we could do just the 10 or whatever it is, but then the regular human race has died out.
Yeah. Well, what if it's like there is a cosmic supernova thing, Fantastic Four style. Instead of hitting the Fantastic Four, it hits all of Earth.
Okay.
Just like this big wave of purple mystical space
Galactus fart
dust. Yeah, Galactus fart. Covers Earth. We all mutate in a certain way or get powers or whatever, and it's just like wreaking havoc on the world because suddenly we all have this unchecked power and no way to regulate it. And then it just goes, well, after it's been 5 years since the farting or whatever, and scientists have discovered like, oh, there's a thing in space that if we set off this event would never happen for another 100 million years. But if we send out a group with these powers or these nukes or whatever, we can get them to this thing, blow it up, and then that cosmic dust will hit us in another 5 years and hopefully save humanity.
It will undo all the work.
Yeah. Well, hopefully either undo it or wipe us all out. Either way, we're all good. Like, we're better off just trying it. You can make up some science comic book mumbo jumbo. And so maybe you kind of do something like that. Or like, oh, we took a sample from the like dust that we were able to extract from whatever. If we throw it into the sun, it'll create a like temporary supernova, and that way it'll hit us in 6 months or instantly or whatever.
Okay.
Versus, so yeah, we do that. So
Sure.
it's not a nuke to reignite the sun; it's a nuke to send a blast of power. Because if we did it on Earth, it would just be like an explosion that would just kill everybody. But if it like radiated to Earth, it could undo it. Ooh, I like this.
Okay.
And then your crew of superheroes, quote unquote superheroes, their powers aren't necessarily like all that, they're not there to fight crime. It's like, oh, the ship is malfunctioning. This power, like I can attach myself to the power generator and like electrical charge it, and like
I could touch it and read I could diagnose anything.
Yeah.
So
and everyone in Sunshine, spoiler, dies.
Yeah.
So you have the guy who like, oh, the ship is dying, I'll just keep charging. It's like, if you use that up that much electricity, you'll burn out and die. It's like, whatever I can for the mission.
Yeah.
And then there's the person who's just like, oh, the ship is falling apart. I need to use my heat powers to seal the metal. And it's like, but I got to do it from the outside. You can't survive outside the ship. God damn
I
it.
can survive long enough. Yeah.
You do some bullshit like that.
All right.
We're cooking, man.
Flowing now. I mean, it only took us 20 minutes to get here. Normally we do these in about 10. But okay, so I like the idea, even though I said no more, don't do the sun, we're doing this thing. Okay, so there are mutants, maybe it's like Hero Academia where there's a fuck ton of them.
Sure.
But we work together, okay? And the mutants police the mutants, and they have determined that this one, the 11th power, he's too strong and he can't live. But they've tried a million ways to try to kill him, and the only way they can figure out how to do it is to throw him into the sun. So it is a team of mutant people who all have specialty powers traveling to the sun to shoot him in there, and he's like a Hannibal Lecter type where he's behind his cage and he's just like fucking with them and toying with their minds, playing with their emotions. How could you do this against your own kind? And maybe he turns some of them, maybe not. And I would say at the end there is someone who has to like, or they all should die, and like we can't, the escape pod to shoot him out there has malfunctioned or whatever. We have to actually send the entire ship. None of us are coming back, and they all have to kind of just kamikaze into the sun.
Okay, I'm into this because at the end of Sunshine, which is controversial, like this is a little silly, but there was one survivor from a previous mission who becomes this like roasty toasty like
serial killer
man. Yeah. So it's just like, it would be fun to have, there's a superpowered being on the ship who like can't blow it up because one power he doesn't have is like he can't breathe in space maybe or something.
Yeah.
Or like you'd kind of Superman and just like, he can't get through lead for whatever reason. Yeah. He can like burst through anything we throw at him, but when it comes to lead, he can just kind of get sealed in there. Yeah. All right, who the fuck
whatever it is. Yeah.
Whatever mumbo jumbo you want to make up. But there's something that like keeps him in the there's some reason he can't just like burst out and fly back to Earth. There's something that keeps him in the ship, and then it's just like, maybe he could kill all the crew instantly, but that's no fun for him. If he's going to be stuck on this ship, he's going to like kill everybody, slow, painful death, and right before they get to the sun, I'll just pilot this shit back up. Yeah. Or like maybe one of his things is like he can sap powers. Like I'll just sap the guy who like knows how to pilot. Sure. Now I do.
Yeah, those details you'd have to work out.
But there's the one guy on the team who's like a power disruptor, and it's like, so he can't.
Yeah, maybe that's why he can't break out, because he nullifies powers around who he is. So he's always around that dude in his cell. And it's like, if I die or if I leave, he's going to get his powers back and he could blow up this whole ship. But if I stay in this room with him, I can save us. And maybe he's the one that gets corrupted. Maybe it's the one that brings his meals. I don't know. But, whatever.
But then it seems it's like he doesn't have powers, but he still has the power to like not die or whatever. Because if he has, I can nullify his flight and super speed or whatever, and like, but like by taking the powers away, now he's just a dude. It's like, well, then why can't we just go up with a gun and shoot him? We're spending all this money to like send him into the sun.
That's
we have
true.
To like,
maybe he could nullify a power at a time. He can't nullify all of them because everybody only has one power, and he nullifies that. This guy has 5 powers. Well, I could nullify his invulnerability, but he has flame powers that nothing can penetrate. I don't know what exactly it would be.
Or like his power, like my power keeps him asleep, so he's he's still indestructible. But like if he does wake up there, or like let's say the person who keeps him asleep dies, then there is a person on the ship who like I can cancel, like you said, cancel out one power maybe, so that keeps him in the ship. But it's like I can only target his reason for like.
I mean, it could be something as simple as like he has all these powers, but he has to like keep his hands together in order to do it. So they have something that keeps his hands apart. Well, yeah, he has super strength once he gets his hands together. But once they're apart, he's worthless. He can't do anything. So he has no power unless he does something, like, I got to touch my forehead in order to do psychic powers. Well, if my arms are at my side and I can't touch my forehead, I don't have psychic powers. So it could be something as simple as that, because if it is a keep him asleep or whatever, well, then he's no fun. You want him to be that Hannibal Lecter person who's just mocking people. So you got to find, like they did with Thanos, they establish if he, closes his hand, the Infinity Gems work. So the whole time they're trying to keep his hand open. So it's something as simple as that is, he can't put his fingers together because then he starts casting spells. Well, we put little blockers between all of his fingers, put these huge boxing gloves on it, put a metal rod between his arms. So his fingers can't touch no matter what. But he's enticing one of them like, oh, don't you want a girlfriend, or don't you want to be more beautiful? I can do that for you. You just got to help me, things like that. And then eventually he gets someone on his side who gets him out. No, Sharon, stop! And then at the end starts fucking things up, and they're like, oh crap, we gotta, kamikaze this into the sun.
Yeah.
Sun kamikaze.
Yeah. I like that. And then, you have your final girl or, the final person left, and it's just like him, and they're like rocketing towards the sun, and like the guy, can like just get away but then at the last second, he's about to hit the button to like turn the thing around or whatever. But then this person who has some power that like just nullifies him enough or like just freezes him in place long enough for them to like not be able to escape, fry the system. They just plummet into the sun. You could do some sort of I don't know what those powers are and how the like logic
And
of it
maybe
works, but I like it.
Maybe it's not the sun. Maybe it's Jupiter. Jupiter's so dense it crushes anything underneath it. Like, we can't throw him in the sun because he'll just absorb all the sun powers. But if we go into Jupiter, it is so dense and the gravity's so strong, there's nothing can survive
even if he does survive, it'll be like an eternal prison. Like he can't he won't be able to get out, and no one will be able to get in to take him out.
So, then you have a better or a more interesting visual than just the sun.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I like it. Let's go with this.
Okay.
So, Hannibal Lecter, Superman, getting shot into Jupiter.
Yeah.
We call it Jupiter Ascending. Or the name of the ship that they put him on. Prometheus? Has that been done before?
The Icarus 2? Yeah, what do we call this?
Was that the name of the ship in Sunshine?
Yeah.
Icarus? Yeah,
which is idiotic. Icarus flew too close to the sun and died. So you're gonna name your ship that? Like, it's just like the Prometheus.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, X-Men, Sunshine, power, space, ability.
I mean, if there were only 10 powers, and you go the 11 power, the 11 power sounds solid, but we're kind of boxing ourselves in. But since we're never actually going to write this movie, we can just call it the 11th power.
Sure,
it's a cool sounding title.
Yeah, maybe we'll go, oh, the 11th. Well, what's the first 10?
Yeah, there's some mystery to it.
Cool. Hey, only took a half hour.
Oh. Project X, has that been done before?
I think so.
Damn it.
I think so.
Because they're like X mutants, and you call it the Project X.
All right. Well, not bad. It took some time.
I like where it ended, though. I would watch that movie.
That's a fun movie. All right. Well, I don't think you've seen the movie that I picked for my next one, but I think you know enough of it to get the gist.
Got it. Okay. Give me 1 second while I try and pick a thing. Okay. Well, you know what? I know you've seen this. So.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
The
Idle
Hitman.
Hands.
Idle Hands.
Idle Hands and the Hitman? This could be fun.
Yeah.
Like a hitman who's...
And just to be clear, not Hitman like based on the game. The Hitman starring Glenn Powell as the undercover quote-unquote hitman.
Yeah.
Which came out and was kind of fun. Directed by Richard Linklater. Which, weird choice. But I like that movie. Anyway.
So, in Idle Hands, you have Devon Sawa is a lazy slacker, and the, idle hands are the devil's plaything.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't keep yourself busy, you may start touching your nethers, or you may start, I don't know, doing bad stuff with your hands. You got to keep busy. And then his hand becomes possessed. I think it's like a serial killer died or was doing some sort of supernatural thing, and then only his hand came back. So Devon Sawa now has a living hand, and it's killing people. It kills his 2 best friends. One of them is Seth Green. It's trying to kill Jessica Alba, and eventually, he like cuts it off, and it runs around a la Thing, and wreaks havoc. And then they got to get it back, and oh god, what's her name?
Jessica Alba.
No, I was gonna say Vernita Green, but that's her character's name in Kill Bill.
Fox. Shit.
Vivica A. Fox.
Yeah, Vivica A. Fox.
And she's got to go after it and kill the hand. And then it also scalps the guy from The Offspring. And then Hitman
The Hitman is about another sort of like loser-ish character, even though he's like the most handsome loser of all time. uh, he's like a professor at school, but he also part-time works for the police department. I forget doing what exactly,
Yeah, I don't
but
remember.
anyway, he's sort of like there's a guy who goes undercover, pretends to be a hitman in order to bust people who are trying to put out hits on like their spouses or their boss or whatever, and that guy gets like in trouble, so he can't do it. So they're like, let's throw in Glenn Powell. And so Glenn Powell turns out he's a pretty good actor and he does a good job. So they keep using him and he puts on different disguises. And he's just really good at getting people to confess to murder conspiracies. Then he falls in love for one of the women who is trying to murder her husband. They start a love affair that is dangerous because she's clearly a criminal
Yeah.
and he works for the law and all the hilarity that ensues there. I am really into this because I think I got something.
Okay, shoot.
So it first starts off as kind of like a detective story where like maybe certain people are getting murdered, but they always find the murderer, but the murderer who clearly killed them is always missing a hand. So it's like, is it a serial killer who is convincing other people to kill someone and collecting their hands? And it's kind of like, he's writing idle hands or whatever on the walls to kind of get like, look, I can make these good, decent people kill other people, and it's their own hands that do it, or whatever with their own hands. It's like, so are they the bad guy or am I the bad guy? It's this cat and mouse game, and it turns like as the story goes on, it turns out there may be some sort of occult thing, and so the detective's looking into like the occult stuff and like, oh, these crazy people are believing in demons and the devil and stuff. Like that's just silly. But then as they're investigating more, it becomes more clear like, oh, something doesn't seem quite right here. And it turns out that the killer is not like some sort of human. It actually is just like a pair of hands, maybe kind of do. And it's like that hand is this demonic hand from hell that is like kind of possessing these people, or there's like there actually is a human killer who's cutting off people's hands, attaching this like demonic hand to them. That demonic hand makes that person kill, and maybe there is a plan. Maybe it's just like, just kill a random person. And it's all just like, how can we track this hand that is just killing innocent people? Like it is the serial killer essentially, but it's also like killing it. Like there's no way to connect all these bodies, and that it's either that or like kind of do like a Constantine thing where like the detective knows this is like the work of demons and stuff, and so you just have like a Constantine-esque character like hunting down demons, and it's just like idle hand demonic thing, like that's its thing. It's just like killing people. But I think that could be kind of
That
you get what I'm going for.
No, I really like that because my initial thought
It's seven with but with idle hands and Hitman.
My first thought was a SWAT team sniper takes out a cult leader who's trying to bring a demon, make a sacrifice, whatever it is. He kills him, and then the cult leader in his dying breath curse that guy.
Oh, okay.
And his now has these evil hands that are pulling the trigger too early, strangling his wife in the middle of the night. Or, he runs in to stop this cult leader who's about to do the sacrifice and cuts off the cop's hand in the moment, and he shoots him, and he's taken to the hospital, and they're like, oh, well, we were able to do a hand transplant, but since this body just rolled in and he was still fresh, we used him. So now he's got this cult leader's hand that's still trying to like finish the job, and so he's possessed, and because it's not like he could be dragged by it, so he's like sleepwalking, and then he wakes up and he sees his dog has been smothered, and like, oh my god, who would have done that? I gotta track down this killer who's torturing me. It turns out it was just me the whole time because I got a devil hand.
Yeah,
yours is better though.
Well, also with mine, because there's not like a ton of Hitman into it. So what you could do is, while this detective is searching for this serial killer, one of the victims' wife or girlfriend or whatever, she was there when the killer came in and whatever and cut off the hands. and so like they kind of like fall in love, and she's the only like person who has any sort of evidence that something went down. So he's like, you need to stay with me, and we can work this case together, kind of thing. They start a love affair, and then by the end of the movie, you realize like, oh, like after these people like remove their hands because they've committed this atrocity, that like demonic spirit goes into another pair of hands, and it just happens to be hers. And so like the whole movie, like slowly she starts going like a little bit crazy, or like things seem off, or like maybe she's fiddling with evidence but doesn't remember because the demon is like wiping her memories, to like, because her hands, like when he's not looking, she's like fucking stuff up for him, and it's like, why did or whatever. And then either and so now it's like, do I kill the woman who I've fallen in love with, but is now clearly possessed by demon hands, which sounds dumb as you're saying it, but like I think it would work if you took it seriously. Because Idle Hands and Hitman are both kind of comedies, but we're pitching this as like a horror drama kind of thing. I think that at least lends something more to like the detective story and to the hitman sort of stuff, because that is like kind of a romantic comedy, weirdly tonally. And yeah, you just have this cool little demonic detective story, and then you can still call it Hitman, but the T is a cross.
Okay. I do like the idea of like, I'm the bad guy. I come to you and I cut your hand off. I pull a hand out of my backpack, I'll say, and then it like auto attaches to you.
Okay, might look like a gross, corpse hand, but once it's attached to you, it like
heals.
It heals,
and then you do whatever I command you to do, and then you kill yourself. I go to the next person. I take your original hand. Now that's the replacement hand. You're always swapping to a new hand. So they could always, like, I don't know how you would DNA test a hand versus something, or like maybe it doesn't match their hand all that much. It like heals up.
Yeah.
But like it still is wearing a ring or has a tattoo or is a different skin color. Jesus Christ, my phone is going off. I fucking muted this shit.
I mean, you can do whatever because it's just demon magic. Who cares?
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a fun concept.
Let's write it up, Ben.
All right.
Put it in the notes.
Do you have a name for it, though? Hand in Hand.
Yeah, I mean, you could do so many things like...
Hand by Me.
The blood on my hands.
Handyman.
And I don't ever want to see another, like, man horror movie. The Bye Bye Man, whatever. What's that other one? There's a bunch of them.
Sure.
We did a whole bit about it years ago.
Okay. Go back into the episodes and you let us know what we're talking about.
Never mind. Anyway, Blood on My Hands, Hitman, Idle Hands,
Handshake.
Have they ever done a movie called like The Devil's Plaything?
I think so.
I mean, it's
handoff. It's like when you're passing money or something, like, oh, you do the handoff and you're cutting off hands. I know it's kind of silly.
No, let's go with that. I mean, it sounds kind of like a heist movie.
Sure.
Or something like that, or some sort of like drug deal gone bad kind of thing. But yeah, let's go with handoff.
Or hands off. Like, don't touch me. Hands off.
Okay, let's go with that.
Okay.
Hands off. That sounds like a detective horror story for sure.
Sweet. And we did that 9 minutes.
Hey, sometimes, gold writes itself.
Yep. All right, well, I got a classic. Everybody's seen it. Or if you haven't seen it, you know about it.
I know I haven't picked this one. This was fun. Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Bruno.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Bruno.
Yeah, you remember Bruno?
Yeah, I do remember Bruno, but of all fucking movies to pick, Bruno. Okay.
This could go very poorly.
Yeah.
Because now...
Fuck, Steve.
Or we could easily offend the gay community and the little people community. With this one.
I don't even know what happens in Bruno. All I remember
it's just a documentary of like this... I think he's like really into fashion, traveling America. He's like I think isn't he also like Eastern European or something
What a
like
good
that?
movie you picked, Steve. We remember so much from it.
Okay.
Okay,
Fine.
now we're gonna scrap both of them because
Okay.
we're gonna have to do something else. Cause boo, Steve,
Say
boo. If you said like Borat, maybe that could work a little bit better. But Bruno, get the fuck out of here.
Our fans are gonna be like, "No, man, you gotta try no matter what bullshit."
Fans.
Sorry, yeah, fan.
And even if we like, these are some of our most unlistened to episodes. Or
Which is a shame because it's some of our best stuff.
This is the most fun stuff. This
Yeah.
is where like you could actually
Studios need to listen to us.
hear
Put
our
us in the think tank.
personalities more than just like talking about movies.
Coming up with fun, punny names on shit.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Why not?
I mean, the biggest problem for me is like, I don't remember if we used this before.
I got the list right here.
Damn, I can't believe how many movies we talked about.
Yeah. Well, it's like every episode.
That's why it's so hard.
Three episodes or 3 movies that we pitched, which means it's 6 things. And this is, if we'd done 20 episodes before this, it's 120 movies.
Okay, it is not on here.
Sweet. Okay. All right, hopefully this is a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily love my pick, but at least I know everything that happens in it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, 300.
Insidious?
Okay.
300 and Insidious?
300 and Insidious.
I mean, is this just kind of like Dante's Inferno, like a Spartan warrior? Because Insidious, there is like the Nether or whatever it's called. Like, does he die and then go to this place and it's like, oh, I need to. But if he dies, like that's where your warriors are going to go anyway. Or is it like, you were the only survivor of this big battle in Greece or medieval times, whatever sort of like sword and century when we want to set it in, and maybe. But then we haven't really seen like too many horror movies set in like medieval times.
Sure.
Or I mean, there's been sort of like horror aspects of just like war.
Yeah.
Or like
the weird monsters in 300 that they.
Or like the Black Plague is a a horror movie for that thing. But like we've never seen like a haunted castle scenario per se. We've had like Frankenstein stuff where it's like castle-esque.
I mean, there's
been
ghosts
haunted
and skeletons and stuff.
But it's always like, oh, it's a modern day movie set in a castle that happens to be haunted, like that kind of thing. Yeah. But like, what if it's like demons have taken over this castle? I know we just did like a demon sort of story, but like, oh, there's this thing that wants the king's son. And so they're like, oh, we should talk to like old Maggie who lives in the woods. It's like, that witch? No, we should have burned her at the stake. It's like, no, I think she claims to talk to ghosts. We should go see her, or claims to talk to the spirits. And so they use her and they're like, oh, your son has been possessed by something from, the hell world or whatever. Because it's all Christian themed. So of course I think it's from hell. So now it's up to her and like maybe this brave knight who's just like, oh yes, my mother always had connections with spirits as well, and that's why all the other knights think I'm a fucking asshole. And then she's just like, no, son, like I can see in your eyes you have the power to see the in-between or whatever. And so it's up to this brave knight to go into this demon world and bring back the king's son. Otherwise the kingdom will fall into disarray and fall prey to the devil himself. I think that could be kind of neat.
I like the idea. Like when you were talking about the knight, I imagine the forest witch putting like bloody runes all over his armor, and like maybe they're related somehow. Like, you're my aunt, but you were shunned, so mom kept me away from you.
Yeah.
But then there's a huge battle. Everyone is slaughtered, and he's the only one left. He got special protections from it. And since we have so many battles where people are dying, I like the idea of there's so much pain and suffering on this battlefield that it becomes kind of like a soiled land, and now it's almost haunted, and now the veil between our world and the other world is thinner. Like the more blood is spilled on here, the easier it is for the demons to get through, and they're trying to warn the king, like, stop trying to fight your neighbors. You're asking for bad news, and like, what are you talking about? There's no such thing, blah blah blah. And the battles just keep getting worse and worse, and then they bring forth the Babadook, whatever it is, the Bagul,
what was the one
red-faced man?
No. What was the one from Hereditary? Do you remember the name?
Oh no, I don't remember the name. Damn. No.
It had a cool name.
And so maybe it is something coming to our world, something like the final battalion after they defeated everyone, like, yeah, victory, and all of a sudden the world starts sinking in and they get pulled in, and like, you helped cause all this pain and suffering, now try to fight your way out of the hell world.
Yeah, no, well, I see what you're going for. I think that makes it become like sort of this big epic action horror movie where I'm thinking more like kind of low stakes, like imagine not low stakes, but like there is, we're just going to call it like the red-faced demon is attached itself to the king's son, or maybe it's attached itself to the king, but the son is, and then they think like, oh, it's the son's problem, but really like the king has been the one who was attached to by this demon since he was a kid or whatever, and like the demon has been slowly like seeping into his mind, like, oh, you need to kill your enemies indiscriminately because, like you said, the battle brings the horrors and it makes the veil between us a little bit thinner. So now more demons are kind of like, or like spirits are like finding their way into the castle and creeping everybody out. Now this place that was like once bright and full of hope is now like this haunted, Dracula castle that, and maybe even the king is just like, I've tried everything. Maybe we should try demonic, blood sacrifices first. It starts off with goats, but then it becomes humans. Like, oh, we capture our enemies, sacrifice their blood. But it's all this ploy by this demon who's attached himself to the king.
Yeah, it's like maybe the king is like, I'm ailing, so I'm letting my son rule until I get better. But it's just the demon allowing the son to make all these decrees, but he's just puppeting him from behind.
That, or
and I want to see, like, if demons are coming out and possessing other knights, I want to see like Dead Space sort of like weird demon knight hybrid things, like things scurrying around the castle, but you hear the clanking of their armor. I want spooky monsters.
And then I think we're thinking of different. I think we're thinking of different things.
What you said, like
I'm not talking about like. I'm talking about like the idea of, because in Insidious, it's not like they were fighting monsters. It was just
what's the point of having fucking 300 besides the setting? It's 300 soldiers trying to defend their homeworld, and like, oh, and we're going to send one dude into the Nether to fight these things.
I've kind of leaned more. It was just like a reason to give a sword. I mean, we could do a big demon battle stuff. Like, I've been craving a big demon battle movie forever.
Yeah, you like depictions of hell. Why can't we take the guys from 300?
No, that's pitch me that movie. I'm just pitching like the one that would be the lower budget. Like, we could make this horror movie. We just need a castle and then like a cast. But maybe it'd be kind of fun to see this knight who has survived these battles, and he goes to the Nether, and maybe he's running into seeing scenes of knights that he used to be friends with, and now there's all these like hard depictions there. Maybe it's like kind of messing with his mind, and they're reliving memories from the battlefield. Or it's like, how come you didn't save me, Marcus? Let's just say his name's Marcus. His mom, who like was hung because it was believed she was a witch, but really it was his aunt. But his aunt was the one who's protected him, and she gave him these runes, and like that's the whole reason he hasn't died or been taken by these demons, but he can kind of reach this place because he does have some sort of, like, I think that there's stuff there, and maybe you can even blend some stuff because Insidious had sort of like a time travel element to it, like maybe seeing stuff from the future. It's like, what the fuck is this all about? But it lends itself to something. Maybe it's all leading to the Black Plague if we're sticking with the medieval stuff. Like, this is all part of the grand plan. Who's to say?
Well, like, I would rather see things come out instead of us going in. So, the king is making the demon king is making the son do these blood sacrifices in the guise of we're helping and getting rid of all these weird spooky things that seem to be happening more frequently. Force Witch is like, absolutely not. You're making things worse. And when they do their final sacrifice, it does kind of erupt, and now the whole castle, maybe it's got a moat, so everything that the forest lady blesses the moat. So now just the castle is like a portal vortex, but they can't get off.
I like the moat idea. That's good.
And so then now you have the knight. He who has these blessed runes or whatever from her has to fight the 300 coming out. They're the evil army is the 300. And so now the castle is being overrun by demonic forces that are either physical monsters or possessing objects. And he is trying to save the kingdom and the prince before they...
Yeah, because in these kind of movies, you always have to have like a little boy, a little girl who like you need to keep safe or whatever for emotional stakes. So yeah, you could have a knight do that.
Because the prince is actually his son because he's fucking the queen. He's the head knight. Because the king has been possessed for such a long time, he's no longer interested in his wife, and so she's been looking elsewhere. And now, not only does he have to protect the kingdom, but his secret son.
Or maybe it's like in order for the they do some sort of ritual. The things come out and start killing everybody. It's like once I kill once I release the blood of my son, my firstborn, the devil will take me and I can rule the earth. And maybe the kid does die, but you find out that at the end, the ritual didn't work because that wasn't his son. It was mine.
Yeah.
And then you have the knight kill. Yeah, that can be kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay. Call it, like the bloodline,
Ooh, okay. This could be fun. All right. I'm into it. There's some good stuff here. This vaguely reminds me of a book that I talked about on here called Between Two Fires, written by Christopher Buehlman. Check it out, everybody. It's fucking sweet and should be directed by Robert Eggers. But anyway, that was many episodes ago. So what do we call this? Until we have a better name. Bloodline isn't terrible, but I feel like I kind of like could give away the twist, true. So you want to avoid that.
The heir to the demon throne. Instead of like Dark Knight or Black Knight, the Red Knight, he's all
I was thinking
bloody.
like the Knight of Blood, which sounds cool and obviously spelled with a K.
Yep.
Or Knights of Horror.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's like over a span of time.
I just thinking of like Blood Knight or the Knight of Blood. He has all those runes on him, but it only can stay powerful if, like, say the blood stays wet. So he's constantly like using his own blood to mark the runes on the sword to do different attacks in him. But he's getting kind of weaker as well because he's losing blood.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't have the bloody shield or whatever, he can't stop certain attacks.
All right, so we go with Bloody Knight or Knight of Blood.
Knight of Blood.
Knight of Blood.
Yeah, I think it's cornier sounding.
It is. It's a little corny sounding, but
I think it works.
Yeah, I can like see the trailer and you pull that title up. It's like that title's kind of lame, but at the same time, like these are just placeholder names.
Yeah.
Like once you like write it and shoot it, go like, you know what? We decided to go and call it like, the
13th Warrior.
Yeah. Also, fucking sweet movie. I haven't seen 13th Warrior in ages. I should watch that.
One of the biggest bombs in history.
Well, they're stupid.
Okay. And like I got a real video game vibe off of this, of just like, oh, you've upgraded, now you get a new rune, now you can block ice effects,
sweet game. Needs a remaster or remake, or a sequel, or both. What was our first movie again?
The 11th Power.
And the second one was
Hands Off.
Okay, the 11th Power involved a serial killer. The next one, and the next two were basically horror movies. Okay, we really lean into horror,
Sure.
despite only
It's
having
easy. Horror is the easiest
despite only
genre.
there being one actual horror movie on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Idle Hands is horror comedy, but it's hard to pitch like comedy unless you already have that premise. Like
We've had some.
but it's just easier to go to dark dramas, horror, sci-fi, genre stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when
I know that's your bread and butter, and my
Yeah.
bread and butter is just like stories in general.
Mhm.
So it's easy. It's like
when I first started pitching this idea, it was always like 2 jars with movies, and then it would be a third jar of like an X factor, a genre, a time period. You know,
yeah.
it's got to include a dog. You know, things like that. So that I mean that if we did this, say Night of Blood, Insidious and 300, but it has to take place in the future. It's like, oh, okay, that's a little harder. Or make this
Space castles.
make this a romantic comedy. You know, like shit, how do you do that? You know, that'd be another. If this took off and was a bigger thing, then we could always.
If this
have
took
those.
off and that worked. Never mind.
You're trying to do it.
I was trying to do it this and that. Yeah, just cut it.
All right, well, cool. 3, pretty successful pitches.
I'd say all of them.
You know, I think you did a lot of the heavy lifting this episode, Steve, so I appreciate it. If you want to...
Got to work my improv brain somehow.
If you want to get in touch with us and give us 2 movies that you would like to see us do a This Meets That on, hit us up at wrplpodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky. As always, I'm Ben.
And I'm Steve.
And I can never remember this because it's been 6 months since we did this one. Do I have a sign off for this? And keep mashing them up.
No, I got it. You get started.
Okay, so blah, 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 emails and stuff. My name's Ben.
And I'm Steve, and we're Steve.
Oh, because you're mixing us up.
Or Steven would just be Steven.
Or
Steven Ben.
Or it'd be like Sten.
Steben. Right.
Stubbin. We're stubbin.
Yeah, we're stabbing.
Oh, I'm cutting all of that.
It works, though.